Welcome to downtown sunny Clarence in the middle of summer. Well, believe it or not, yes, it is the middle of summer. Only a couple of days ago, we had 41 plus degree day, thunderstorm at the end of the day and whatnot. And I actually put this trip off by a couple of days because of the weather back then. Looking at the forecast, it was supposed to be mid-20s, so a lot cooler, less chance of rain was the forecast. But yeah, that hasn't happened this time. Yes, it's a lot cooler, but I've pretty much had the windscreen wipers on the whole way up. So anyway, this hike that I'm doing this time around is an overnight hike, so 2-day hike. I've come here to Clarence to the Zigzag Railway, and I've turned off and I'm heading in towards the Glowworm Tunnel. The hike I'm doing, it doesn't seem to be an overly popular hike, which is a little bit good for me. It is going to be off track, and hopefully this truck doesn't come over the top and block out all my sound. Anyway, I might just wait. A little bit of a pause there, sorry. This is a working road, there's a quarry down the road here, so there's a lot of trucks coming and going. Anyway, so this hike, it's not an overly popular hike that I know of. It's in towards the Glowworm Tunnel, a little bit of dirt road. Hopefully it's not too bad with the rain that we've had. My plan is to park in the car park, hike overnight. Sorry, not overnight, I'm not hiking at night, don't get me wrong there. Hike during the day, it's only a short hike in, camp overnight, shoot at different times of the day and night, and then hike out tomorrow. So anyway, from here, let's head on into the camp, to the car park. A little bit of a drive from Clarence from the Zigzag Railway. It's definitely four-wheel drive track to get in here, particularly with a bit of rain and moisture around. It's a little bit slippy, there's a couple of little washouts. Nothing overly hard, nothing overly complex. Basically just need the ground clearance and good traction tyres to get through. I'm still in four-wheel drive, so that's what I mean. It's not a difficult track. I really wouldn't be coming down here in an average car, particularly anything lowered or without much ground clearance. Maybe an SUV if you've got a little bit of experience getting off-road. So anyway, as you can see, I'm in the Blue Mountains National Park, and the car's parked up. I've done the last couple of last minute packs of a couple more muesli bars that I bought on my way out. Pack set, hiking poles are out, and I'm heading down this way. So anyway, let's get this hike underway. I'm really looking forward to seeing what I find at the other end. Well, I've been walking an hour and 20 minutes now, with regular stops, and stopped for a little bit of lunch. I tend not to actually bring a lunch as such. I don't know, it's possibly something I really should look at. I'd be curious on what others do for lunch on their first day out. Obviously I can't take sandwiches for day 2, day 3. Without refrigeration and ice and all of that. But anyway, so after an hour and 20, the bush trees give way to this small patch here of just open grasses really, and really low shrubs. It's not that long lasting. It's just a nice change of scenery. Get to see something a little bit different. No doubt, I reckon of an evening there may be kangaroos back here, so who knows, I'll keep that in the back of my mind. But anyway, looks like we're going back into the bush now. This is just so quiet out here. I can barely hear a plane overhead. There's a few birds tweeting and the likes, but otherwise it's just dead silence. Now, I've been hiking an hour and 50 now, about half an hour from the last lunch break and stop, and my progress actually slowed a little bit. While underfoot the track is really good, it's a solid track, it's fairly overgrown, and I had to keep constantly stopping and checking my navigation, my maps and GPS, just to ensure that I was still on the track. So while you can see the track there, as I say, it's overgrown, and if you're not concentrating, it would be very easy to take a wrong track that's not actually a track but appears to be a track, and to get yourself lost or fall off the track, so to speak. So for the last half hour, as I say, my progress has slowed. I've been having to be very careful to make sure I stay on the track. So depending on your source of information, you do need a little bit of experience, knowledge, and common sense to make sure that you do stay on this track. So anyway, I'm heading off down that track that is now proving me wrong, that it's not overgrown in this section, and I'm about to drop down into the creek and come out at the waterfall that I'm after. So let's keep going. Well, I'm down here following the creek around, and unfortunately it's a point of no further for me. That's a bit of a drop there. It's probably about 6 foot down, and then it just seems to disappear. So while it's a beautiful little location here, I can't go on, because the problem is, if it gets worse further down, there is no way I am scrambling up there with this pack in my gear. So I've got to turn around and head back now. And there is an alternate route. I do have an alternate route down to the waterfall that I'm after. However, it's going to depend on how long it takes me back to get back to the starting point of that, and whether I've still got enough light in the day to get where I want. Well, welcome back, hikers. A little bit of bad news this afternoon. I've decided to actually turn around and not keep going to the waterfall. And there's a couple of reasons why. The first one is the weather. Even though it's only sprinkling, I actually have to go down into the creek and hike a little bit along the creek. So I don't know exactly what the rain and the weather was up here for the last couple of days. Even though I know I'm high in the water catchment, high in the mountain range. Who knows? It's not worth the risk. Even though the creek is fairly low at the moment, I did get to part of it. It is low, but I honestly don't know. And if this weather turns, there's always a chance of flash flooding, which I don't want to be caught in. So I've turned around. The other reason is there was a bit of rock scrambling. Now, in my hiking notes that I had, it actually said that it was good. It's tiered, it's solid rock, but it's good in dry. So this definitely isn't dry weather. Everything is damp, everything is wet. My clothes, everything, not just from sweat, but from all the shrubbery that I've actually pushed through. So those rock tiers that I had to scramble up and down, they're wet. The notes that I had from another hiker were good in the dry. So the other side of it is, yes, I also have this backpack that carries a fair bit of weight, and my centre of balance has greatly changed with this. So I've got to consider that I'm basically carrying a small kit on my back, and any sort of movement and my centre of gravity moves and down I go. So a few factors there, as I say. So my plan at the moment is I identified a nice camp spot back up the track a little bit. So I'm going to head back there now and set up camp, see what the weather brings, and what I might just do is do a couple of little short hikes, a couple of 100 meters from where I camp in the morning, see what shots I can get there and see how we go. So it won't be a total loss, but I'll definitely have to try again for this one. So anyway, I'm going to keep hiking. It's late afternoon, but I've still got a lot of sunlight. So, but I'd need to be in, set up and cooking well before dark. So I'm heading off. Well, good afternoon, everybody. I managed to get back to my Plan B camping ground and get everything set up and organised, which is great. Unfortunately, the weather has turned a little bit, and it's been raining a bit more this afternoon than what I planned. So I've actually retreated, and I'm in the tent, which isn't overly big. So anyway, I really don't know what's going to happen tomorrow as far as what plans I'm going to get to do. Again, it's just going to depend on the rain and the weather in the morning. So what I thought I might do is give you a guided tour of my tent. Won't take long, so stay tuned. Here we go. As you can see, I've actually changed shirts. I've actually got a t-shirt on, so I do pack a change of clothes, just t-shirt and shorts, which is pretty pretty good at the moment, because that pile there in the corner are my pants and shirt that got absolutely soaked today. There are my boots. Hopefully they might dry out a bit. They got soaked. And as I kept saying, it was all because of pushing through very wet undergrowth. So if I switch down a bit now to where you just saw my feet, that's my backpack there. Spare set of, I bought these for kayaking as well as wading through water, so they're really lightweight and airy. Pair of shoes, so I was able to slip them on and get out of my wet boots this afternoon. My mattress and pillow. There's my tent, there's the door, little storage up there. And pretty much, as you can see from side to side, my mattress takes up half the floor space. So it is very, very confined, limiting. I've got to sort of slide everywhere. Hopefully I'm back in view. Yep. Yeah, so I've got to slide everywhere to go anywhere. It's a fairly short tent. Again, it's all based for camping, lightweight, and normally I don't expect to spend much time in my tent. However, given the weather, it's good enough to keep me dry, keep me warm. Still got my sleeping bag here, so I'll be climbing into that probably fairly early tonight and having an early night. So anyway, thanks for the, that's my guided tour. Thanks for joining me. Doesn't take long, does it? So I'm going to start cooking dinner. It's about that time. I think the rain has stopped long enough that I can actually get outside to cook. So dinner time for me. I'll catch you probably in the morning unless I do another video and catch up overnight. Well, good morning. Well, that was a little bit of an interesting night camping out here. It wasn't too bad. I was nice and warm, I can tell you that. Comfy, cosy. Even to the point I didn't even need to pull the whole sleeping bag up over me. Just kept the bottom half nice and warm, and yeah, very comfortable sleep. I did have a bit of rain overnight, a couple of decent showers that I did wake up for. I don't know what happened when I was sound asleep, but anyway, we'll put up with that. So today's plan, new day, new plan. I'm actually not going to go back to the falls today. There is a creek crossing that I have to do, a little bit of wading up the creek, and again, it all does come down to safety and the fact that I am out here alone. So, given I don't know how much water's rushing down and the likes, so I'm not going to attempt it today. That'll be another day, and I might actually bring somebody else with me next time. Some things aren't worth it on your own. So anyway, today's plan, as you can see, it is very drab. Everything is wet again. It's just very drab, flat grey sky, and just unfortunately it's just not overly interesting. So my plan is to pack up everything inside the tent, get ready to leave, and I'm just going to take the camera and tripod and wander around up here. There's a couple of things that I've spotted, some really interesting trees. I'll see if I can get some photos of that, just depending on the weather. Probably hang around for another hour or so, see what I get, then come back, hopefully some of the rain's off the tent, and pack it up. This has actually been a pretty good challenge for me. I keep saying I am a fair weather hiker, and a lot of that does come down to the safety factor, which is in the back of my mind the whole time. But you know, the rain and the mist just means nothing dries out. Everything is wet. So my pants and shirt from yesterday, I've not been able to dry them because I've just basically been in fog the whole time. So anyway, time to finish my morning coffee. I've had breakfast, and it's time to get going for the day. Let's see what we can find. Here we go. This is probably my second last video from this little hike. As you can see, I'm all packed up, tent's gone. Pretty much everything is still very, very wet, except the inside of my tent. Needless to say, everything inside the tent stayed bone dry, which is absolutely fantastic. I'm happy with that. Nice and warm, but anyway, time to call it quits for this hike. Again, a bit of a bummer in that I didn't get to shoot what I really, really wanted. But as you can see, the weather just isn't playing today. It's just not quite right. I can't even get a light ray to come through and light up a tree or something. But I did go for a wander, as I said, and got some shots. I'll see how they come up, and I'll post them if I've got anything decent, as I do. But now to head back to the car. Got a little bit of a hike. That's not too bad. But part of the thing is I've got commitments tomorrow that I need to get back to. And with everything being wet or damp, I need to start drying it out, hanging it up and airing it out. As well as I protect my camera gear, even under raincoats and things, it still gets damp. You just can't help it in this sort of weather. So it needs to be aired out, dried out, and made sure that it's all ready to go as well. So there is still a lot to do once I do get home later this afternoon. But anyway, that's it for now, and I'll do a quick wrap up when I get back to the car. Let's get hiking. All right, well, I made it back to the car. A bit of a slog out, but that's all right. That's what I expected. Now, I'm actually back here at Clarence at the Zigzag Railway, just for a quick stop. Thanks for following me on this trip. It was a little bit of an adventure. I think it was a little bit challenging. And that's one of the things. There's no problem in challenging and trying to be a little bit adventurous, but the thing is, in the back of your mind, you always need to have that safety factor, that consideration, knowing your capability, and not being afraid to say, I can't do it this time, or safety factors, exactly as I've done. So this is definitely back on my bucket list. I will get it done one day. Exactly how it went, I'm not too sure, but we'll see how we go. I did get some shots. So anyway, all enjoyable. Now to head home, unpack, dry everything out and have a shower, and then dinner. I'll catch you all later on the next trip. See ya.